I'm going to go deep into the values because I'm really interested at the moment in the values that aren't just courage, respect and empathy, public service. Um, I think, Jordan, you were asking this, so I'm sort of going to link this into what you were asking about. I'm really interested in how you express the values that are dear to you and how you express the values that are important to the police service. And so it's, of course, respect and empathy. Yes. Of course, public service. Yes. Of course, courage to do the right thing. Definitely. Definitely. The standard you walk past is the standard you're prepared to accept and the standard you just become. But I'm really interested at the moment. So I'm going to talk about it and we're going to discuss it more in the Ask Brendan Anything, which is just for our clients. I'm going to go deep into the real values that matter. And some of them are actually legislated for. So respect, treating people responsibly, and fairness is actually legislated for in Code G of the Police and Criminal Evidence Act, paragraph 1, as amended in 2012. Look it up. You'll see it tells you that when you arrest people, it's legislated by law, you must treat them with respect, you must treat them responsibly, you must treat them fairly and without unlawful discrimination. And I always think it's a weird bit of legislation, that, because unlawful discrimination is already unlawful. So it's like they're saying, look, and we mean it this time. We seriously mean it. Don't do unlawful discrimination. So I'm really interested in values. So Jordan, you touched on it. You said being kind. So I call it one of our proprietary methods. One of the things that we talk about a lot is I call it pace plus two. The Code G pace plus two. So Code G tells us that we've got to treat people in those 4 ways. I think there's something we can add to that. So that every person we deal with, who we arrest, is there anything wrong with giving them a gift of kindness and compassion? Would any of you object to that? A lot of police officers will. Trust me, I know this. You're going to come across police officers who are like, little scrote, needs banging up, little effing bastard, best place for him's prison. And you're going to wonder where their humanity's gone. And I used to as well. And you might be thinking, oh, it's all well and good for you saying this, Brendan, you're out the job now. No, look, for 3 decades, I was like, how is that person walking that straight line? And remembering that just giving them that gift of kindness and compassion is the best gift you can give them. So going back to your question, Phoebe, about like, why do you want to be a police officer? If you can just inject little things like that, another time when you didn't have to, but you offered someone that kindness and compassion, and then you realize that this is something that's a deep value of yours, only if there was those circumstances, but then you can talk about how you could even bring me into it and say, as part of my research to be a police officer, I've spoken to a retired inspector who's talked about the greatest gift you can give, especially to those people who've committed the most heinous crimes, is kindness and compassion. Make sense? I know I'm going off on all sorts of tangents, but I'm hoping like weaving it back to the original question. And there's a few reasons why we do this. Actually, I'm going to go into them more in the Ask Brendan Anything, but one of them is just because it's the right thing to do. There's other reasons around covert human intelligence sources. There's other reasons around guilty pleas. There's other reasons around you never know when someone who you've treated with kindness and compassion is going to help you. Little story, newly promoted in Wigan, promoted to sergeant. Actually, newly promoted. I've been promoted. Say that I've been promoted about 3 years at this point. Newly promoted-ish as a sergeant, and I've been a custody officer. I've worked in a custody office, and apparently I'd booked this bloke in. Let's call him Steve. I can't remember his name. I'd booked him in, and I'd dealt with him as a custody officer whilst he was being processed and whilst he was being interviewed and charged and all the rest of it. Wind on a year later, myself and a student officer get called to a disturbance in the street in Wigan. And it's a sort of disturbance, it's a hot sunny day, it's a sort of disturbance where everything's gone a bit pear-shaped. Everyone's been drinking in the afternoon, in the morning probably, and the shirts are being torn off. It's like the t-shirts are like, come on then. It's like they all think they're Superman or something, like the shirt's being I don't know why they've got to do that. It's just like, come on then, come on then. And they're all giving it that to each other. And two of them are actually scrapping. And I'm thinking, there's a lot of them, and they're all bigger than me. And my poor student officer who's with me is looking at me like, Sarge, should we be here? And I'm thinking, I think we need more people to come and help us. So I shout up on the radio, can you send some backup, please? Because this is getting interesting. There's people are fighting in front of us, blah, 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 blah. Okay, so backup's on the way. And then this guy just comes out of the house and goes, you two, back in your house. And you should know better. Get out of our road. You get back to where it's like, he cleans them all up. And they're all like doing what he said. They're all like following his instructions. Then he comes up to me and goes, I'm sorry that happened to you, Mr. O'Brien. In a different accent, like he had a strong Wigan accent. I'm not even going to attempt to do it, but I'm sorry that happened to you, Mr. O'Brien. And I'm like, do I know you? You were the custody officer. You booked me in last year and you were really good to me. And I've never forgotten that. And they're out of order treating you like that. I don't know about the other sergeants, but they're out of order treating you like that. And I'm like, well, thank you. Shake hands, part as friends. And it was all because I treated him with kindness and compassion. So you never know. That's the message. You never know. Some reason. We'll go into it at 7 o'clock, but there's some deeper reasons as well. Some deeper reasons. But anyway, there you go.